Daniel Jones' time with the New York Giants is officially come to an end after losing an embarrassing game to what most people think is the worst team in the league in the Carolina Panthers, who currently sit in dead last with a negative point differential of 143 points. But the New York Giants aren't that far behind. So is this failure on Daniel Jones or the New York Giants? Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Woodman. Welcome back to the Kevin Woodman Show. In today's video, we're going to go over the recent release of Daniel Jones after his benching, and we're going to try to figure out if it's Daniel Jones' fault or if it's the New York Giants. But before I do, if you guys want to see more NFL football news like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, and thanks to all the people that already have. Other than that, let's get right into the video. Now, Daniel Jones' time with the New York Giants has been tumultuous right from the start.
He's announcing the pick. B. Allen. B. Allen. B. Allen. Who is it? Who is it? Oh my fucking God! Oh my you gotta be fucking kidding me! You've gotta be fucking kidding me! How did they take Daniel Jones? The New York Giants just took Daniel Jones over Josh Allen!
Now, to be fair, that's Josh Allen, the pass rusher, not the quarterback. And that's because they already took someone over this Josh Allen in the previous year when they drafted Saquon Barkley instead of a quarterback. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Daniel Jones how to do.
Why does Joe Budden look like he's lost in his own house? He doesn't even look like he knows where he is.
About it for the last couple of months, how much they love Daniel Jones how to do.
I get so weak in the knee.
The 19 NFL draft.
Josh Allen.
The New York Giants select
Dwayne Haskins.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel mother! Oh! Oh! Oh no!
That shit ain't funny.
Oh! Oh my God!
During his time as a starter, he was not
I mean, that guy had a 1,000-yard stare and Daniel Jones never even played it down.
No! ESPN rated Daniel Jones as a 0-star recruit.
They say that he was a 0-star recruit.
ESPN rated Daniel Jones as a 0-star recruit. What are you doing? You have Dwayne Haskins there. You have Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to be in a gold jacket.
This is the second time that I heard somebody mention Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins wasn't much better. If we look at the stats of Dwayne Haskins' career, he had a 3-10 record, although he was also with a questionable organization. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns, and he actually died at the age of 24 while trying to run across a freeway on foot as he got hit by a dump truck. So my point is, there was not a very good draft class. Daniel Jones statistically probably was the second best quarterback in the entire draft class, and I think the Giants really just reached based off of need because quarterbacks were going very quickly despite the fact that there really wasn't a lot of success in this entire class. The only good quarterback in the entire draft class went number 1 in Kyler Murray, and it's still questionable whether or not he's a franchise quarterback, even though he's doing very well. He's made a couple of Pro Bowls. He's clearly the pick of the litter. Drew Lock was widely thought to be one of the best as well, but he went in the second round and hasn't done much in his NFL career. Teams were reaching. Quarterback desperate teams like the Giants and the Washington Commanders, who I think were the Redskins at the time, were reaching for quarterbacks based on the fact that it was more need than actual value. So they're not the only one that made that mistake. But in the same breath, in this time frame, these are two of the worst run franchises in the sport between the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins, who are now the Commanders. And it's a well-known fact that the Giants have been bad going back for a very long time, as they have the worst combined record in the NFC over the last decade of 61 and 104 and 1. The only team in the entire league that has a worse record happens to reside in New York as well, in the New York Jets, as they have a combined record of 55 and 108. But nobody could predict the future on how this was going to turn out. So why was there so many New York Giants fans so upset on draft day?
Oh no! 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 They did not take Daniel Jones! Are you fucking kidding me? No way! No way! Are you fucking kidding me? The New York Giants select Daniel Jones.
So to recap, the fans hated the Daniel Jones pick. They all thought it was too high. And to be fair, they were right, as Daniel Jones was PFF's 5th ranked quarterback in the class and 70th overall by PFF's draft board, putting him at a 3rd round prospect who will likely be overdrafted, and he sure was, the 6th overall pick.
Here we go, baby! 19 NFL draft. The New York Giants select Daniel Jones. Oh my God! Josh Allen. The New York Giants select Daniel Jones.
And it wasn't just the fans that wanted somebody else. The analysts all seem to know this as well.
Let's go! Daniel Jones, quarterback. Let's go! Daniel Jones. What are you doing? What are you doing? I just want to take a second. Yo, these beans are good as hell. Hold on, Mina Kimes, first person to ever.
So despite the fact that the fan base and the analysts around the NFL all thought that this was a bad pick, and the majority of them wanted Josh Allen, who did turn out a lot better. Josh Allen currently has 50 sacks in his career, 2 Pro Bowl nods, and he's definitely having a much better career than Daniel Jones. So why, despite the fact that everybody seemed to know that this was such a horrible pick, why did it carry on so long? Not only did Daniel Jones make it through his entire first contract, but he also got extended 2 years ago at $40 million a year.
He's going to be the quarterback in New York for a while. 4 years, 160. He's got $35 million.
4 for 160, but $40 million a year for Daniel Jones is bad business. Daniel Jones is the only quarterback in the modern passing era to play 10 or more games for 3 straight years and throw fewer touchdowns than games played every year. He's never had more touchdowns thrown than games played, including this year, his awesome year when he played 16 games and threw for 15 touchdowns. They're going to regret this. Does anyone think that in 3 years we're going to be like, man, Giants got a bargain with that Daniel Jones deal?
And to make things worse, they did re-sign Daniel Jones, but they didn't re-sign the star player that they had already on the roster in Saquon Barkley.
This might be a worse day for New York than 9/11 itself.
Dude, he sounds like his soul's leaving his body.
I don't like football anymore.
Only this time it wasn't just the fans that hated this move. The owner himself was caught on camera on Hard Knocks expressing as much.
I'm going to have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia, I'll tell you that. As I've told you, just being honest. I've been around enough players, but he's the most popular player we have by far.
I don't know how Joe Schoen still has a job. I mean, he was literally smiling in the owner's face while he was having a heart attack about losing his favorite player. Not to mention Saquon Barkley came back and completely embarrassed the Giants in a 28-3 blowout, similar to the same A.J. Brown 3-touchdown game against the Titans that got their GM fired the next day. He was the guy who brought Brian Daboll here, and he also extended Danny Dimes while letting Saquon Barkley go. He's responsible for this entire mess, where the Giants currently don't have a quarterback, don't have a running back. They don't really have much of anything except for a coach that they're still kind of betting on, who I'm not really sure if he's the guy or not. We'll only find out in time, but that'll even be a couple years because they're most likely going to draft somebody, and if they draft somebody, there's not really a great chance he's going to be, Jaden Daniels the first year that he's playing. It's probably going to take a couple of years. So how long is the owner of the Giants willing to go along with this until he figures out that this guy just doesn't know what he's doing?
Obviously, Saquon, franchising and trading him, I don't think is realistic.
Are we positive that nobody's going to pay him that kind of money?
I mean, who would you say would go sign up running back to that dollar amount?
A team anyone that has money to spend.
There's a lot of running backs in free agency.
Yeah, but are any potential difference makers really? Like after you watch this film?
I just think all the teams that need a running back are going to look at Saquon.
And Saquon Barkley himself, who left, also had some encouraging words to say for Daniel Jones, while also suggesting that the Giants don't know what they're doing.
Daniel Jones, just wanted to get your thoughts on him.
Hopefully, wherever he ends up next, they're going to get a guy who will come in and work. And it didn't work for me over here, and I'm doing well over here. And hopefully he can find the same kind of fresh start and success.
And I got to be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards what Saquon said there. I do think that Jones could potentially resurrect his career if he went somewhere else and found a team that's willing to take him. I don't know what that's going to look like going forward. There's really only one potential team that I've heard anyone mention that made sense.
In the team offices in Las Vegas, Nevada right now, I am all over Daniel Jones, and I will start him as soon as I can.
Now, this isn't the first time that we've seen a good quarterback go high in the draft to a New York team, ultimately fail, get labeled as a bust, and then go somewhere else and have a lot of success. Does that sound familiar, Sam Darnold? As we're currently watching a former top 5 pick have a career year with the Minnesota Vikings that nobody really expected. But he's a guy who's 8-2 right now. He's mostly living off of that defense for the most part. But he proves that if you're a guy who can take care of the football, basically play the system properly, go to a team that has a good offensive line, good weapons, that you can get something out of that quarterback. He's not the long-term future. JJ McCarthy is most likely, but he's playing well enough that he's going to give that team pause whether they want to let him go or not. And I think Daniel Jones could easily work his way into that situation. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for Daniel Jones. Injuries happen all the time. We saw it a couple years ago with Baker Mayfield when he went to the Rams on like a few days' notice, and he just basically hopped on a plane the second they called him to play a Sunday night or a Monday night game against the Raiders.
To the end zone to Jefferson. Is that possible? This is impossible.
He ultimately won that game in dramatic fashion and resurrected his career. So there's no real reason to think that backup quarterbacks are former high-round draft picks like he was a top six pick is a rare thing to have. People are always going to see potential in a guy like that. I think you're seeing it right now with Jameis Winston, who won a couple nights ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's trying to resurrect his career the same way. There's always opportunities for quarterbacks that show their resiliency and play good at a high level when they get those opportunities, especially when they come from high draft backgrounds like these guys do. So at the end of the day, we will see Daniel Jones again. I just don't know, and time will tell, whether we're going to see a good version of Daniel Jones, depending on the situation he's in, or whether we're going to see the same old Daniel Jones that literally falls in his face when there's nobody around him.
Takes off and he is gone. Trying to stay upright and he trips.
So I'm going to end the video there. If you guys want to see more NFC East videos, I made a couple on the Cowboys, a couple on the Eagles. I have that popping on the screen, so just click links, and thanks for watching.